Guys, thank you everyone for joining us for the June 2026 BrainX Community Live session. We have a very exciting session on applications of generative AI. We're seeing a lot more research being done and publications coming out about its application to either educate clinicians, to provide decision support, to provide synthesized information from various different repositories. Uh, and we are seeing a large amount of growth in research and development related to agents also. So platforms was the key thing last year. A lot of platforms that were being developed. A lot of people are using a lot of different AI platforms these days. Open Evidence is one of those. A lot more work going into how to have automation built in to these systems using AI agents. But today, I want to feature a couple of amazing researchers and innovators from across the world who have developed a few of these platforms, and they will showcase their work today. Again, inspire us to use some of these platforms, think about what's needed for us as clinicians, and also to think about what can be built for clinician use in the future. I see many new faces. For those of who are joining us for the first time, BrainXCommunity was started around 7 years ago. We used to do these in live sessions in person, but then quickly, as we grew across the world, went to online sessions. Uh, 7,000 plus member international community just on LinkedIn. We crossed 3,700. So if you are on LinkedIn, please join us in the group called BrainXCommunity. We have our website, brainxai.org, that serves as a repository, and I'll showcase that for a lot of information related to AI in healthcare. And we do these live sessions so that we can feature the work of many of us and learn from each other and grow together. So if you go to our website, you'll find the homepage, which has the latest information about the content on the website. We have this Connect segment where we put the upcoming events or links to the past events where you can reach our YouTube channel. So please subscribe to it. Subscribe our YouTube channel so that as soon as we upload any of the meetings that you might have missed or the webinars you might have missed, you can get the recording readily delivered to you. We have our LinkedIn group, which serves as the social media platform for sharing the latest scientific information, upcoming conferences, upcoming opportunities to collaborate. We have our Learn section where we provide a curated list of publications or links to these publications. There's so much research work going on right now, and there is a need for curation. So on in the Learn section on our webpage, you can find there is a filter also that you can use to look for different healthcare specialties, and we feature some of the key publications from time to time through this Learn section. Everyone is looking for data, right? For AI, you need data, and that's why we have our data section. It's the largest repository of links to open source data sets. We cannot provide you data directly, but these are open source data sets, usually require a DUA, that is a data use agreement with the owner. But after that, you can get access for research purpose, and many people have utilized it, and you can even find references to the data set and their related publications right through this web page. Our podcast series, we're going to restart that soon to feature some of the stories of some of the amazing researchers, innovators from across the world. And then meetings and conferences, everybody's looking for those. So you can go to our conferences section and you can see any of the listings of upcoming conferences or meetings. You might be interested in submitting your abstract or your poster or your paper at that conference. You might be interested in going and presenting something over there or networking with various different people. So look at the conference section for that. Couple of books that some of the BrainX community members have co-authored in the past, which brings in the voices from different areas across the world. But back to our feature presentation today, we're going to have two amazing speakers, and they're going to talk about the platforms that they've built for generative AI application in healthcare, for evidence synthesis, retrieval, clinician decision support, a couple of amazing stories that we are looking forward to. So I'm going to welcome Dr. Chaitanya Mamillapalli and Dr. Ahmed Ibrahim El-Sonbaty, one from US and the other one from Cairo, Egypt. I'm really excited about this global event. So we'll get started with Dr. Chaitanya, and he has a clinical commitment to follow. So we'll take Q&As after the end of his presentation, and then we will go on to Dr. Ahmed. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Dr. Chaitanya, welcome.
Sure. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Got it. So let me just open my slide deck. So you should be seeing my slide deck now.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, so let me just put a slide show. Hey, thank you, Piyush, for the introduction, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. As I'm going through my medical training career years, and even as a physician now, I feel that I use a lot of AI to make clinical judgment, but as a trainee, if they start using using AI tools, they're going to bypass the cognitive thinking, and they're just going to rely completely on AI, which has a lot of limitations. So there is a high risk for de-skilling for physicians like us using a lot of AI. But the trainees, there's a real risk is no skilling at all. So they don't develop the cognitive processes. And a lot of current testing material out there is it's based upon rote memory. It doesn't teach logic, and it also makes them good test takers, not necessarily good clinicians with nuanced decision making. So I kept this in mind and devised this platform where we counter some of the negatives in the current training models. These are the 4 areas I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to do a demo of the platform as we go along. So let me just show you the first demo of conversational AI.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so it asks about what is your clinical reasoning, what findings to stand out to you. This patient has acute MI. I'm just answering the question in a Socratic mode. So it can go on and have a conversation about adapting to the patient's, to the student's level of understanding. And the way we are trying to ground the data is when we create the question, we can create the question in this, like, for example, is an example of how we can create a question. Create a patient case to teach about management of type diabetes in a patient who has chronic kidney disease. And we can create a conversational AI question. And what it'll do is it'll create a question stem, and it'll generate a initial draft exam, and it can create probes for that thing regarding what did the student ask this question, what should be the answer, what should be the reasoning. And when the model is answering these questions, it's going to be rooted in the data that was generated by the mentor. And the mentor can actually, when generating this, can go in here and make sure that all this content is validated. He can go in here, he can make edits to this. Say if he doesn't like this specific component, he can basically delete that, or he can basically simplify, expand, or he can bring citations to this as well. Okay. And after generating this question, there is 2 options here. He can use a different AI model to validate this, or he can send it to a peer reviewer based upon the workflow. So for every content generation, the sequence we're following is the first AI model is going to generate the content, the second AI model is going to validate it, and the third step is the mentor is going to review it and edit it and send it for peer review. And the fourth step is the peer reviewer is going to do the final validation. So AI is going to take the bulk of the case creation, but there's going to be a human in the loop with a human expert validating the content. So that's where we're trying to route all the student answers and responses to the expert validated content. Okay, so this is the conversational AI, which I couldn't demo that to you, but I would love to demo it sometime. So the second component is a case generation. You see in that workflow where with a single short prompt, you're able to generate a whole stem of conversational AI questions. You just use a single text prompt here and you can generate the whole question. And you can also generate a multiple choice question as well. You can just say, for the same prompt, you can get a multiple choice questions regarding answer options, explanations, learner notes, references. And we're also focusing on, instead of doing a single multiple choice questions, we're trying to mimic a real life scenario, like where the patient comes in to the clinic on the first clinic visit, second clinic visit, third clinic visit, and what happens to that entire patient case journey, to the patient journey. So we want to treat the teach the clinical judgment to the trainees. And we have a component of creating content in the context of that patient. So we have healthcare systems design education. So there are different branches in this: medical legal analysis, value-based care, billing and coding, utilization management, insurance navigation. So it creates content in all that domains. Say, for example, in this medical legal analysis, it'll tell you regarding what are the things that can medical legally go wrong. For example, if you don't stop metformin in a patient with GFR less than 30, that's going to be a legal complication. So it'll tell you about standards of care and risk mitigation strategies, and it'll tell you about the recent legal cases. And as you know, how value-based care has become a mainstream, with a lot of payment models geared towards that, but a lot of physicians and trainees are not trained in that. So then it's going to teach that concepts in the context of that patient case. So when we're teaching trainees, we're not just teaching about the medical aspects of it, we're also teaching everything about other related fields like billing and coding, utilization management, insurance navigation. Okay. So we also have what's called as a general club module. And it's typically a challenging thing to have a structure to a general club module. Some of the programs have a good structure to it, but a lot of programs, it's not standardized. So what we created is you can upload a paper, and again, there are two flows in this. One is the mentor flow, where the mentor creates a structured content to explain about to give information about that general club. And there is a student view, which I'm demonstrating you the mentor view now. So you can upload an article here, and you can extract content there, and I'll show you one of the things that it already did. So what it does is it creates an overview about the general summary, key findings, clinical implications, and it'll do analysis in all these aspects, statistical aspects, bias. It gives you that, and it explains to you regarding the study limitations with respect to different types of bias. And it then converts into translational clinical way of applying the general club. So into the PICO format, population, intervention, comparison, outcome. And it'll also give you the discussion points. So what you're seeing here is the mentor side of things, where we're creating the data for routing that discussions that the trainee is going to have. So the trainee is going to expose then to this, how can he apply the paper to a real world scenario. So it'll give a scenario and it'll show regarding, hey, does this patient have all the inclusion criteria to be applying this general club knowledge to? So they can select this inclusion criteria. And it will give a answer regarding, okay, based upon this, the patient qualifies to be in here. So all this information is again rooted in the content that's generated by the mentor, who is going to validate uh, the analysis. And there's also going to be multiple choice questions regarding, okay, so this patient has this clinical condition. So based upon this clinical trial, which one do you say? You can create, select a choice. Okay. And there's also going to be a voice tutor mode where they can do a one-to-one session for the general club. So this one thing where we're basically taking such a complex discussion about general club and making it into a standardized format. I'm getting a lot of feedback regarding how it can be used in different settings. Okay, so and we also have a way to create interactive content with single text prompts. Let me show you about. So with a single text prompt, you can create something like interactive content like this. So this is about interactive artifact to teach about bias in clinical research. Say selection bias, it just goes in this format of what are the different types of it. Classic example, how to prevent information bias. And this, the whole diagram here was created within less than a minute with a single short prompt. Create education about research bias to trainees was the prompt that I used to generate this. And you can copy this link and share it with your trainees, or you can publish it in the platform. They will have access to this. So I know just through the demo there, I think my demo is supposed to last for 20 minutes. So I want to pause there and take questions. I can go on about the platform, but I think we'll have more value taking questions.
Yeah, thank you, Chaitanya. Thanks for demoing this. I think there's a lot of excitement about such work because education itself is transforming. Uh, Excited to share that one of our scoping reviews on generative AI applications for healthcare just got accepted. For healthcare education,
Oh,
just got accepted, so it should be
fantastic.
coming out soon.
Yes.
Where we showcase a lot of different uses of generative AI in healthcare education across a multiple healthcare professional domains. So not just for physicians, but for many others. It's going to be coming out soon. We'll be happy to share that. And this is a perfect example of what you're sharing. A lot of different use cases for generative AI. So I do see a comment or a question in the chat here from Brian. His question, number one question, actually is a number one question in everybody's mind, I guess, is grounding. How
Sure.
do you establish grounding and the source truth, and what about the evaluation?
So as you could see, the way the information flows is the mentor is going to use AI to create the content. So that is probably going to be having 20% inaccuracies, give or take, right? Depending upon the model and all that. We have three layers of making sure that the only accurate content goes in for when it goes to student. Number one is the second AI model that still may not be perfect. Number two, the human expert is going to validate and correct everything before sending it to the peer reviewer. So number four is a peer reviewer who is going to do it and then finally publish it. And from the students, when they're interacting with it, we have formed our architecture in a way that it is grounded in, it is not an open source thing. So we have given or architecture a way to make sure that it only relies upon the information that is what the mentor has verified and peer reviewer has validated it. So that's how we are approaching this problem. So we are not giving the AI more like free hand, just do go from the open source and do it. We created some content, the conversational probes here. So it's going to remain grounded in those conversational probes. Let me show you if I have that here. So you have the probe here regarding, it'll ask about the students, and it'll give you the exact reasoning here, the rubric key. So it's going to be answering questions within that framework. If there's any questions that's outside this framework, it's going to say it's outside my scope. And we're also going to do a research study on this uh, and get our metrics out regarding how this model is working.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Brian, because we saw a recent publication questioning the grounding, and I think that made a lot of way. We're going to try to do a journal club on that soon. I've invited the authors for that to come and join us for a journal club. So that will be an exciting upcoming event. So follow us for that. But even if you use various different, context sensitive techniques, there is always this concern about either fabrication, psychophancy, previously called hallucinations, uh, or other missingness that we have actively measured. So there are still always these concerns. So one of the things that I learned from your platform was that there is, whichever way you call it, human in the loop or human on the loop, to also filter for that. Is that correct, Chaitanya?
So there are two things here, right, Piyush? When we created the content, let me probably show you the slide. I think that makes it more. Okay, yeah. So there is ensuring that there are 4 steps to publication. So before the content goes to publication, there is this mentor and peer reviewer doing that human in the loop thing. So it's going to be 2 AI models which are going to cross verify each other, and then it goes to the student to learn about this stuff. So if there is a hallucination or addition of inaccurate facts, this will be screened by the mentors.
Yeah. No, that's great. It just so everybody wants the answer today, right now. So it just adds that latency many times. That's a common challenge. It's across all. Anytime that you add a human in the loop or on the loop, that will happen. Uh, and the AI validation, you can cross-validate it. We actually published a paper on how good is LLM as a judge, and there are behaviors that we have learned from different LLMs and their judging and all that need to be understood too. But I think majority of times it works very, very well. If you have if you're using LLM as a judge, that is your B. AI validation, the second model using it, majority of time it actually works very, very well, and it's very insightful at least. And then you add the expert review layer. I do see a question over here, or a comment from Dr. Kare asking about, is it possible to add gamification? Yeah, that's a great question, because the time that you add gamification, it becomes something that is more appealing, and I think that's a great suggestion. Uh, it's not just about the content, it's also about how you use it. And I think we are learning a lot more about it. So a great comment and a great session. So with that, I know, Chaitanya, you have to go. If anybody has any other questions or comments, I'll be happy to follow up. Please post them in the chat. I'll be happy to follow up. What about the availability of the platform before you go?
So it's if someone wants to pilot it, they can send me an email, and we can definitely give you a pilot access to review this. So it is, we are still in the beta phase. We are going to validate our conversational AI approach with the research project, but we are launching in a demo phase in a few residency programs. So once we learn from it, it will be more widely available. But if anyone is interested, I'll drop my email off. They can approach me, and then we can set you for a test access.
Yeah, so please either contact Dr. Chaitanya directly, or you can contact me. I'll be happy to do that. One of the missions for BrainX is to have a platform, which is BrainXCommunity, where researchers, developers, innovators can have this unified platform to share what they're doing, get feedback, and have the ability to collaborate. So thank you, Dr. Chaitanya, for sharing this.
First, I would like to thank you, Dr. Paj, for support and encourage and to be in such a great community. And thank you for all the audience for this attendance. Simply, I am Ahmed El-Sonbaty, cardiac anesthetist in Jeddah. I want to tell you a story. It's not just an application I wanted to tell you about. It didn't start at the keyboard. It started 2 a.m. in the OR when trainee asked me, well, what's the adrenaline dose for this baby according to his weight. This event triggered something in my brain. I know he can calculate it, but why is it this in his hand? This question ended up with two tools, now reaching thousands of clinicians. This is how doctor become a builder, and what it taught me about AI tools we actually use. And because this is a teaching community, I will show you how the same tools we use for daily practice can be used for teaching also. Three things kept happening on every list. One, colleagues kept asking me the same questions under time pressure. What's the dose for this weight? How do I adapt for this comorbidity? What are the first three steps in this crisis? Two, I had watched a capable trainee hesitated on a newer device. The moment where second and confidence decide how it goes. And three, the evidence exists already, but it was a 200 page PDF, and nobody ever opened 200 page PDF mid-case. So I built this tool to help us in this problem. Practicing clinician first, builder second. Anaesthesia AI is a generalist breadth. It builds a patient adaptive plane across the whole specialty. Over 460 procedures, 100 plus comorbidity, crisis protocols, risk scores calculator. Every recommendation phase structured and dose aware. CCA Pro is a specialist cardiac depths. 7 high acuity domains, ROTEM, TEG, ABG, hemodynamics, ventilation, ECMO, and echo. One engine, aware of the patient weight and physiology. Generalized breath following into cardiac depths. Same patient, same workflow. And these are not mocks up. This is what's live right now. On the left, anesthesia AI plans remote location anesthesia, 30 crisis protocol, a PubMed back search, a WHO checklist. On the right, CCAO Pro, the cardiac suite published in the Journal of Cardiothoracic and Vascular Anesthesia. Post free, post work on phone in your pocket, post right now in the clinician's hand. Two kinds of evidence, because in medicine, one is not enough. One reach, anesthesia AI has reached more than 10,000 clinicians across 157 countries, free and no paywall. And it was independently evaluated. A face validity score of 3.9 out of 5, nearly 95% acceptance, with strong internal consistency across 412 clinicians. On rigors, CAA Pro is a peer-reviewed, published in JCVA. Before publication, it passed 24-point audit against the ECTS, ELSO, AHA, NACE, ADA guideline. That audit caught 3 high severity issues, which I fixed before release, and every one of the 24 clinical scenario tested passed. I wanted to be honest about why publication mattered to me. I didn't seek peer review to add it to my CV. I thought it because when a tool touches patient safety, someone independent has to check it before a single clinician trusted. Evidence first, echo second. And that the same evidence building is what making is a teaching tool. Every recommendation is references lesson, not a black box answer. Here, slides go on so far. Let me show you one patient start to finish because it's where either works or doesn't. We will go from a tailored, sorry, doctor. I think, yes. We will go from a tailored plan into an intraoperative crisis through a focused echo to confirm recovery. One patient, one workflow. Watch how the two tools become one. Here, for example, a 64-year-old man, a major upper abdominal surgery. He carries four things that matter: type 2 diabetes, hypertension, moderate COPD, and stage 3 kidney disease. I entered the data and in seconds, a full plan. Look at the top, the adjustments are already active for renal and pulmonary risk. I didn't tell it to worry about his kidneys, it knew. This senses surgery plus comorbidity plus this patient composed in one plan. Now the case third, sudden hypotension and bronchospasm after the antibiotic, grade 3 anaphylaxis. This is a moment the whole tool is built for, because this is a moment you have no time to read. One tap and the protocol is there. Stop the trigger, call for help, 100 oxygen, then adrenaline with the weight-based dose already calculated for this patient. Fluid, airway, second line, step ordered, dose aware, reference to UK Resus 2025. No scrolling, no 200-page PDF to have to read. The patient is bad, but as a cardiac anesthetist, I now have to read I have a real doubt after an event like that. Is there a myocardial dysfunction or stress cardiomyopathy? Is it safe to proceed? This is where the generalist hands over to the specialist. The same workflow opens CCA Pro Echo module, structured views, ASD-based measures, guided LV function. It confirms preserved function, excluded new dysfunction, and documents baseline. And here is the teaching layer. The modules include 43 figures for TTE and TEE Atlas. So a trainee doesn't just get the answer, they learn to read the views themselves, a decision made with confidence. And if he hadn't recovered, the escalation for VA ECMO guidance lives in the very same engine. So the lesson, and this is really for everyone in this room building in the health AI. Four things decide whether clinician adopt your tool. It's built by someone who does the work. Credibility comes from the OR, not from the pitch deck. The reasoning is transparent. Trust needs a visible why, and that visible why does something extra. It teaches. The trainee using it learns, and reasoning not just the answer. It's fast under pressure. If it is slower than my memory, it become useless. I will never use it in a crisis. And it's safe, private, and free. Audit content, no data leakage, no barrier to entry. Get those four right, and the model almost doesn't matter. I will leave you with one line this whole journey taught me. The clinician who does the work, who does the job, is the one who should build the tool. Both tools are free. Anaesthesiaai.com or cca-pro.com. So here is my ask, and it is for the educators in the room especially. Try it with one trainee this week. Tell me where it helps them learn and where it didn't. That feedback is what next version is made for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Thanks for sharing, the work that you have done. Very inspiring. I'm sure a lot of people are excited to try it out and to use it. I was very excited when you shared it with me to try it out and to learn from what you have developed. Again, we started, as I put in the comment, we started with Dr. Chaitanya showcasing a journalist tool, journalist education tool. Here, it is something that is much more specialized. I'm going to ask you the same question about the grounding that Brian had asked. And this is something that we have seen from our research. I think for general purpose questions like when should I get my colonoscopy if I'm 55-year-old, most of the large language models can answer that very, very well. But when it gets into complicated questions, that's where some of the generative AI has a hard time answering the question. It will most of the time because of the psychophancy answer it. How do we know that that answer is well grounded? So you did mention some of the key principles in building some of these applications, that it should be safe, there should be reasoning, but even that reasoning lately in research has been questioned whether the reasoning is optimal or not. So what's your approach to making sure that the responses are safe and the responses are well grounded?
Look, doctor, as we discussed before, that the all sources I used in the building is deterministic. It's mentioned inside the application, whether the Anaesthesia R or the CCA Pro. So there is no chance for any hallucination in the app. Revised many times, especially CCA Pro already published and peer reviewed by another persons. Anaesthesia already under reviewing now. So it's my concern, especially as I am academic with academic history. I can't give any piece of information could be harmful for the patient or let me lose the trust of the clinician. So of all sources, I depend on it in the building, whether comorbidities, doses, drugs, anesthesia techniques are mentioned inside the application. So it's open book for all, not depending on AI only.
Got it. So it's providing more of information synthesis, timely information synthesis from a vast context so that it's readily available to people and in a synthesized way that they can use it in a timely manner, right?
Yes.
Awesome. The other question that I saw in the chat was about is this available in US, and is this subject to the FDA clinical decision support ruling? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Still, till now, I didn't start these procedures to get the FDA approval. But if you use it, you find that there is no any access for the patient data, no data, no personal data about the patient, no MR number, no name, no anything. Even if you save the anesthesia plan or save anything, it will be still inside the program, not on cloud based. No, you cannot. Nobody can see it. It's still inside the application.
So it's more for education purpose currently rather than for clinical application use.
No, it's a clinical application. You can use it by every doctor by himself. He cannot share the data except if he wanted to share the anesthesia plan with unnominated, no names of the patient, no any page, just the anesthesia plan. You can share it with his colleagues, with his senior to show it. And he can save, even he saves the procedures in the logbook, it will appear as a title of the surgery and the type of anesthesia, not details. So
Yeah.
the patient data is still secured and not transferred to any place.
Yeah. But even then, I think every country or sometimes like EU has its own rules and regulations around the use of AI. And I think that's where probably some of these questions are coming from, and the frameworks are different. And every country has a different governance and policy. For clinician decision support in US, as correctly pointed out by Brian, I think it needs an additional regulatory framework. And I'm sure a lot of members in the community can help you and support you in learning more about it and for application.
I'm generally welcomed with any suggestion to improve the application from any countries to be suitable for us, for all.
Yes, well, that's the whole point for this community, that we all collaborate together. These are great ideas. These are great tools. They are in early demo phase. Some of them undergoing. I'm glad you're doing the validation of this. Congratulations on the publication. We'll share it too. But validation of these become very, very important for those who are trying to build these. I think that's a great lesson, and some of the lessons that you shared of how you have gone through the validation, publishing it to make it transparent and having it peer reviewed. So with that, I don't see any other questions or comments in the chat. Dr. Chaitanya left us early, but I appreciate him with his presentation. And Dr. Ahmed, thank you so much for the amazing
Thank you
work
very
that
much. I would like to thank you in front of our great community that the eco module in CCO was the suggestion of you, Dr. Paj. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. And we will meet again next month with another exciting session. Till then, follow us on brainxai.org or on our LinkedIn group. And if you want to be featured over here, please contact me directly. We'll be happy to work with you. Till then, good luck. Bye.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.